Hey guys, today we're going to be uninstalling this TorqueMaster, torsion bar setup for my garage door. It's lasted pretty long, probably longer than it should have, like 11 years. With the iDrive, which is the worst of them all. Again, that's lasted 11 years though, so I've been lucky. I've had to replace the motor, I think, once, and a spring in the TorqueMaster once, but it's now giving me troubles again, and I'm done with it. So I'm going to be replacing this with a regular Torsion spring system, and I'm probably going to use the LiftMaster 8500 opener as a replacement. I've heard and read good things about that. So this is going to be a step-by-step video walkthrough on how to dismantle the TorqueMaster with the iDrive and install a regular Torsion garage door spring system. And I'll probably have a separate video for the TorqueMaster, or for the LiftMaster 8500. So let's get to it. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is remove this counter right here. It just slides right off. And then we're going to remove this gear, which you're going to have to probably pry it off. I already kind of pried mine off, so it slips off. And now we are free to remove these two bolts. Before you do this, a very important point, don't forget to take your drill socket and we got to remove all the tension on this spring that's inside of here. If you don't do that, then it's going to be bad news. So don't forget that little counter that we took off. Make sure that's at 0 before you uninstall this. Same with the other side. You probably have spring in each side, I'm going to guess. So make sure the tension is set to 0 before you go taking this thing off. Alright, so here we go. Okay, there's also a Phillips screw that you're going to need to remove right in here. Okay, now that is loose and out of there. The whole thing slides up. And be careful, because there still might be some tension, even though I had that set right at 0. You can see that there was still some tension on that spring. Maybe the counter wasn't completely accurate, but whatever. When I raise this up, just be prepared for that thing to fly off and don't let it hurt you. Okay, another thing you're going to want to do is the cable here. Make sure you want to attach it from the bottom, or you can even cut it. On the other side, I just cut it with some wire cutters. Okay, we're at the other side now. So, step 1, slide that off. Step 2, get that gear up there. Step 3 is that Phillips screw and both of those bolts. I'll cut the camera while I do that. Okay, I got all that stuff off. Now, just to be safe, instead of using my hands with my head right next to that, I'm going to go ahead and use a 2x4 from back here. Just kind of raise it. That wasn't nearly as bad. And now it's loose. Next step is going to be coming over here and unmounting those bolts. I'll just leave the bracket attached to the iDrive, unmount the 2 bolts in the header, and then with those off, the whole bar will just lift up and I'll be able to take it to the dump where it belongs. Okay, now as you can see, I got that side off. I got the iDrive off the header. Now this side is a little hung up on this release, so we got to make sure to unbolt those 2 bolts for the release, and then the whole thing will be off. Okay, let's go over the parts for the torsion system. This is pretty much a kit that any garage door installation company is going to carry. I got it for 150 bucks. You could probably find a little bit cheaper, like 120. Even online places are going to be about that once you factor in the springs and everything. Now some installation companies may not sell this to you. They'll try to force, they'll tell you it's dangerous, which it is. You got to know what you're doing. Definitely do some research and maybe watch this video. But it's not rocket science. So this is what we need. Those are the springs, which you have to measure. You either have to give them your door. You can weigh your door also, so that you know exactly what springs you need. And then you have the cable to replace, all the mounting hardware. These are your drums, the cable drums that go on the ends. This is your center bearing support, which these are gonna mount together on this guy, and this is your end bearing supports. So we're gonna mount this stuff up right now. Oh, and these are very important. This is what you stick these in here, and when you're ready to wind the springs up, you gotta have 2 of them. And I'm sure you've seen it on YouTube, but I'll show you once again. And that's the most dangerous part. Every step up until then is pretty harmless, but you can definitely put yourself in the hospital if you're not careful. So definitely, it's worth watching a couple videos on how to do that, because you don't want to mess that one up. Okay, now we got that thing off. The next thing is to mount our end bearing brackets. They go on the inside, like this, or outside, I guess, whatever your perspective is. And I'm going to go right through that circular hole right there. And then it's going to be screwed right there with a lag bolt. And then just put your nut on the other side of that guy. If you wanted, you can put another one through that round hole as well. And then we'll do the same for the other side. Okay, we got both of those bolts in there. Now, before I put the lag bolt in there, I'm going to pre-drill 3/16 hole for the lag bolt. Okay, we're ready to start mounting everything up here. Let's take a quick second to talk about springs. It does matter which side these things go on. As you see, this one is being wound in a clockwise direction. This one is being wound in a counterclockwise direction. So they're opposite windings. This is called a left wind spring. This is a right wind spring. The left wind spring goes on the right side of your center support bracket, and your right wind spring goes on the left side of the center bracket, so it's opposite. So just make sure you get that right, or it's not going to be good. Okay, so put the center support bracket on there first, and this does go in this orientation. This is down, this is up, and then the spring comes on. We gotta undo these so that the spring will fit on there. Good. We'll just slide it on down. And the drum, the tightening lugs go on the inside, and that's where you put your wire. It goes on the outside. So just slide that on. And then we'll go do the same for the other side. Okay, now we're on the right side. We get the spring and the drum on. Okay, now we're going to take this whole assembly and we're going to mount it through the end bearings. Okay, we got it up there. The next step, as you can see, or maybe you can see, it's sagging in the middle. So we got to mount this center bearing support bracket. As it happens, use a level for this. Just put a level on your rod there and make the bubble go in the middle. As it happens, mine just so happens to line up with the same holes that mounted my iDrive, which is good. So I'll just use those. And I'm going to go ahead and mount them like so in the middle, loosely. And then I'll put the level on this, get it perfect, and then tighten them down. Okay, I got those mounted. Next step is to bring your springs into the center here, line them up, and then there's, see the slot there? A bolt goes through the center support, out to the other one with the nut on the end, and the same one down there. Okay, now we're going to come down and install our cables, and look at the size difference here. The top one is the puny TorqueMaster cable, and the bottom one is the replacement Torsion cable, much thicker. So just squeeze this a little bit. It comes a little too round. You don't want it to slip off, so just kind of squeeze it down. You can use some needle nose pliers, and then let's see, down there is where you're going to slide this onto. It's a little tricky, but once you see what you're doing, it's not too bad. Okay, once you got it on, then you're going to route it behind all the wheels on the inside of the track all the way up. Okay, so I don't know if you can see the wire hanging over there. I did not install it on the drum. Some people do that first and then wind the spring. I like to wind the spring, just one spring first, and then I'll go and I'll set the drums, and then I'll wind the other spring. So when you're winding the spring, you're going to take the bar like this. Actually, like this. I'm going to come up, and you're going to take your other bar and you're going to put it at the bottom, and you do the same thing. So it's, you're never not having a hand on one bar, and you just keep going. The number of winds is, if you're counting each movement from here to here as one, that'd be a quarter turn. Then you're at 30 quarter turns, or 7.5 complete turns. So however you want to count it. And when you're done, there's going to be a ton of tension on this thing, and it's going to want to throw it this way, down. So when you're done, you just set it, you leave it up in there, you set it against the garage, and then there's going to be so much tension in that spring, it's going to hold. And that's when you set you tighten your both your lag bolts, and you're going to go, and we'll do one wheel. Okay, I got my 30 turns. This bar is on here, securing it. Now we're going to hand tighten just until it makes contact, each of these, and then we're going to take a ratchet and we're going to do 3/4 of a turn. So obviously that's a quarter, half, 3/4 to each bolt to tighten them up. Okay, now I got the cable up to the drum. This, it's pretty easy. It's just fed through a little channel right there. Make sure it's straight from the backside, straight like that. And then we're just gonna make it follow the groove, like so. Make it follow that groove. And we're gonna wind this all the way up until there is tension. We're gonna slide this. We're gonna slide this all the way to the bearing. And then we're going to wind this until now, see there's tension. So now, you don't want there to be any play like that, so I'm going to put pretty good tension on it, and now I'm going to tighten both of these lag bolts. Okay, we got the right side cable secured to the drum secured to the bar. Now we're going to come to the left side, do the same exact thing, mount the cable, mount it up there just like we did over there. As soon as we have that, then we can take that bar out, the winding bar, ever so carefully, and then proceed to wind the right spring, and we'll be all done. Okay, I got the left side done, and I just pulled the winding bar, so now that spring there is holding half the weight of the door. Now I'm going to come here and I'm going to tighten this spring 30 quarter turns or 7.5 full turns. Tighten it down carefully, and we'll be done. Alright, I'm done with the right side. That's all there is to it, guys. And we'll see how easy this thing goes up. I got 2 fingers on here. And now I'm not even touching it. Kind of goes up by itself. It's a little hot, but from what I read, that'll settle down. It's super easy down too, so it's not too out of whack. But from what I read, once the springs stretch out a little bit, it won't be so hot on the way up. And that's all there is, guys. Got a nice torsion system that's gonna last for many years, hopefully. And we finally got rid of this nasty iDrive TorqueMaster. Maybe they should call it TorqueMaster. So next video is going to be the installation of the LiftMaster 8500. Stay tuned. I should have that in a couple days. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, of course.